Hey you all, how you doing? A few days ago, or maybe even actually a week ago, I posted on Facebook. So if anybody had any questions or comments concerning my new post-apocalyptic series called Grimm's Afterworld. So if any of you had any questions, that this was the perfect moment to ask them, and then I would make this Q&A video to answer as many questions as possible. Now, I've had quite a few questions, not only on Facebook, but on the comments of the first part of the video, which I released, I think, about more than 2 weeks ago, actually. So let's get to it, shall we? I've got the questions on my other phone, and we're going to start with. So first of all, I'd like to say that I wanted questions connected with the actual series Grimm's Afterworld. Yeah. Now, of course, some people ask me other questions, which I'm going to mention now. For example, I had Craig Lemire. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, mate. This was on Facebook. He asked me if there was any difference in gear from woods to urban, and tools, the difference in tools that you would use in nature and in an urban environment, I would say. And he also asked about food and water storage, and the difference in making fire from woods and or nature and in an urban environment. Now, these questions, they are not really connected to the series, but I would like to answer them, though I must say that this is a whole individual topic which unfortunately I can't cover now, but it's a good question for future videos. So Craig, mate, even though your question was excellent, I'm going to leave that for another video because that's a whole individual topic. Yeah, but I just wanted to mention that I read your question and I appreciate it, mate. Now, another question we had from Shervey Castles, mate. I hope again that I'm saying your name right. Now, he asked a few very interesting questions connected with Grimm's Afterworld series. So let's have a look at that. He asks, how long has it been since society collapsed? So in the first video I show that I am moving about. I find some ruined or abandoned buildings and I go in looking for something to scavenge. And his question is how long, yeah, before that, before my first appearance. It has been I have a plan for the video, okay, for the series of videos, and the thing is that I am not too sure whether I can answer a lot of these questions, because I will be answering these questions in future episodes. But how long has it been in my plan, and I hope I'm not spoiling by talking too much. It's been a couple of months, just a couple of months, let's say, actually between a month and 2 months. So that's when everything, collapsed. Then we have, how long did your preps last before you were forced to scavenge? Fantastic question, Chevy. Let's say, again, I don't want to say too much because I might spoil future episodes, but I think for me it is safe to say that I did not have any preps. At the moment, I do not have any preps. It just happened, it got me off guard, I could just pick up a bag, and for now that's as much as I can say. Are you alone or do you scavenge for others? This is a key question which unfortunately I'm not going to answer. You will see though. It's coming up in future episodes, so that fantastic question will be answered. But that's for future episodes, as I said. And have you found a reliable water source, and etc., etc. So this you will see in future episodes. Why I was scavenging in those buildings, where am I going, and why am I going to where I'm going. So everything will be made clear. I hope that kind of answers something of what you asked, mate. So thanks a lot for that. Let's go on to the next one. The next question is by John Cape, fantastic friend of mine. Shervey is a friend of mine too, great guy, and he supports my project, and Craig also. John Cape I've known for many years, and he actually helped me to create the graphics, the logo and all that I'm using in Grimm's Afterworld, which, by the way, I suggest that you watch it. I mean, that's why we do all these things. So anyway, so John, mate, brother, let's have a look. We have, what made you decide to have no talking in this series? Yeah, and he goes on to say that the visual impact is stunning, and no speech is needed. He wonders why I've decided to do this in a quiet way. Yeah? So no talking, no speaking at all. I've had other people asking me a similar question, yeah, or commenting on that. So why don't you talk in this series? So if I talk, I can explain things better. The aim of this is to show slowly, to show ways that you can survive in an urban environment, whether it's abandoned or not so ruined. But I will also be including woods and nature in this. So my aim in this video is to create a story, and while presenting this story, I would like to show how you can survive. I am not an expert. Okay, I am not an expert, and I'm not sitting here saying, oh, you know, I'm so cool, I'm an expert, I'm going to teach you. No, I'm going to be showing how I would do things if a situation like this happened. How I would survive, how I would scavenge, and how I would build a shelter. This is what I would do. And you can take as much from it as you like, yeah? But I'm not an expert. So, why I've decided to do it quiet? I wanted to try something different. I wanted a silent video. I wanted to show my ideas through actions, and on the other hand, as I said, I'm trying to create a post-apocalyptic story, scenario, film, if you will, and there would be no point in me talking to anybody, because at the moment, maybe in the future not, but at the moment I'm alone, and there's no point in talking to anybody. Of course, if enough time passed and I started losing my mind because I'm alone all the time, then of course I think I would end up talking to myself. Or like in the film Castaway, where I don't remember the actor's name. Come on, so he makes a pal from a volleyball, I believe, Wilson. That was hilarious, but at the same time, it's something that could happen. If you're alone long enough, you might end up creating a friend, imaginary or somehow physical. So at the moment I'm doing it quiet. I could decide to think out loud and like this let you know what I'm doing, but some things are very simple. I mean, in the first video I found a tin of food. Okay, so I find it, I pick it up, you know, I look at it, I'm analyzing, you know, like, wow, it's food, or maybe not, I don't know what is inside, but I'm not going, you know, to say, okay, I'm going to look at the camera and say, oh, I found a tin of food, this is food for later. I think that's logical, and I don't see any point in doing that. I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that. I mean, we each do our videos as we like, yeah, but I think that by showing would be better than you having to listen to me. I have enough videos where I talk. This is one of them, and I'm talking too much already. So let's put it this way, it's going to be silent for now. If in the future, and if I find somebody else in my series and I meet somebody else, of course there would be some talking, but I wanted to do something different, and that's why it's going to be silent, at least for now. So thank you, John, fantastic question, bro. Okay, what else? Oh, we have another one. A good old friend of mine, Robert Winkler, fantastic guy. So Bob, mate, so he asked, he says, do you worry about landmines, snipers, and or any other enemy, and he puts in bracket Russian activity when you are out in the wild? This does not directly connect with Grimm's Afterworld series, but it's a good question. Thankfully, I live I think about 500 and something kilometers from the front lines, from where the war with Russia is going on, and we are rather fortunate to live so far from there. So generally speaking, no. I do not have this fear or this worry that I might step on a landmine or a booby trap, or I don't know, be attacked by enemy forces, whether Russian or others. Um, so I do not have that concern, but in a way it connects. Now I'm going to connect this question to Grimm's Afterworld. Last time, when I was filming in the ruins that you saw in the first part, I stumbled on a booby trap, and I'm going to post the photo now, so you can see the photo of the booby trap now. And as you can see, there is a kind of homemade flare, or some sort of flare, maybe, I don't even know what it is, I'm not sure. And then you can see a black string going from it. I found two of those. And this made me think that there's something going on here. Do they look military? No. They look homemade. Hunters? Maybe. But I can tell you that it wasn't there the first time I went, but it appeared on the third time, because I've been there 3 times. I found it on the third time that I was there. That made me think a bit. The place where I filmed the first episode is a Soviet military radio station, and it's been abandoned, I would say, for the last maybe 20 years. Maybe after the perestroika, it was abandoned or whatever, and that's why it's all ruined. It made me think that this was a military object, a military area, and there could be booby traps. Those booby traps I showed you on the photo, I don't think that they are 20 years old. This is, as I said, I didn't see it on the first trip, but I saw it on the third. The second, I didn't walk along that specific way, so I'm not sure. So could there be other booby traps? Definitely. Should I be careful when I go there, because I'm going there again? Definitely. Something to think about. But generally speaking, when I'm in the woods and that, I have no concern about leftover mines, bombs, I don't know, tripwires or whatever. But going into abandoned places like that, yeah, I think that it was an eye-opener. I need to keep my eye on that. Okay? So, thank you, Bob, for your question. I hope I answered it as best as I could. So there was one more question, and this is by Bushcraft Survival Belgium, by my bro Danny. So thanks, Danny, for your question. You had 3 questions actually. You had which tools are absolutely necessary in your bag-out bag in your environment. That's one. Then we had, do you organize your bob, which is your bag-out bag, a bag that if anything happens and you have to run from home or something, that you have the necessary gear to survive for a period of time. You just grab the bag and leg it. And the last question was, what's your best stealth fire if necessary? Again, I think that question 1 and 2 about the necessary tools and who organizes my bob. I organize my own bob, yeah. And how do you organize it? That and which tools are necessary. This is a similar question, and then to what Craig asked earlier, I mentioned earlier. This is a whole separate topic, and I think this video is getting too long already, and your questions are very interesting, but they're a separate topic, and maybe in the future I'll make a topic connected with that. I'd like to go to the fire though. Whether you're in an urban environment or in a rural environment, in the countryside, forest, wherever, I think a fire, if you are in a post-apocalyptic situation, a fire you would have only if it was absolutely necessary. Like now, I'm frozen. We're about minus 12 degrees Celsius, I believe, and sitting here doing not much without a fire is not pleasant. So my fingers are a bit frozen. So if you absolutely need a fire, I would recommend the Dakota fire pit, which, as many of you know, is just, you dig a pit, a hole, then next to it you dig another hole, and you connect it with a little tunnel, let's call it, for the airflow, and you make the fire only in one of the pits. This keeps the flames hidden, minimizes the smoke, depending on the wood that you use, of course, the firewood. You know, Danny, this kind of fires, and many of you also. but I think that's something that I could demonstrate in another video, probably. So, good question, but again, I'll go to that. The best fire is not having a fire. If you need to be hidden, if you need to be careful, post-apocalyptic, you don't know who's around, if somebody, wants your stuff and is ready to kill you for it. But again, all this is fiction. But if that happened, then of course better no fire unless you absolutely needed it. So I think that I've answered all the questions that I had at the moment. So guys, thank you very much for asking these questions. And if any of you have any more questions, preferably concerning Grimm's Afterworld series, whether it's about the story itself or the places I go to film or whatever, then by all means please leave a comment below, and I would be more than happy to answer, as long as I feel that my answer will not spoil the continuation of the series. So I'm always ready to answer. So thanks a lot. And by the way, the next episode of Grimm's Afterworld will be coming in about a week. I have it ready, but I need to change some things, make it more interesting for you guys. So I wish I could film such videos every week. Not possible. Work, family, actually family, work, family is more important than work. So anyway, I hope you like this video. I'm sorry if I talked too much, but that's actually who I am. Except Grimm, my character, doesn't talk. So, okay people, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bushcraft Ukraine out, and God bless.